the S23 Ultra really does seem to be Ultra. I was looking at some stuff today on the news, and apparently the actual S23 series has broken the cycle that hasn't happened since like the S20. They actually increased sales. So basically, since the S20, it's been downhill, basically like 15-20% every year. S20, then the S21 went down, the S22 went down, and maybe even the S20 from the S10. I think the S10 might have been the last time that they increased. So yeah, the sales numbers actually increased. And one really curious thing that caught me, the S23 Ultra is actually accounting for 60% of the sales, and then the other 40% broken into 20% is the S23 and the S23 Plus. So it seems like everybody actually does want the Ultra. And I'm actually kind of surprised by that because, well, it's a really expensive phone. It starts off at $1199, and on top of that, especially here in the US, trade-in values were utter dirt. Like, they were bad. They were not good trade-in values basically anywhere. Like, you look at Best Buy, you look at Samsung, horrible on the S22 Ultra series. So I just kind of assumed that sales were lackluster. I had even seen somebody had told me like sales were not quite what they expected them to be. And I think that's because more people were going through carrier channels, and a lot of the bulk of the sales actually internationally, a lot of other countries, especially like Canada, was saying they had some good deals. I was getting and hearing information from other folks saying, we actually have some pretty good deals. So it seems like last year with the United States market, they really hammered down on trade-in value for the S21 series. There were points last year, 6 months later, they were still giving you like $1,000 trade-in credit for like a cracked screen S21 Ultra to get you to upgrade to the S22 Ultra. So they did a lot of things right here. Like, they did a lot of good things here, and I think a lot of it is because the chipset has been so good. If you look around at the reviews, if you look around at like the other media out there on YouTube and stuff like that, basically everybody's saying this is the best series that Samsung has had in a really long time. And that's not saying like the S22 Ultra series was bad. The S22, it did not have good battery life at all. The S22 Plus, I really wasn't a big fan of that. The S22 Ultra, though, it's a really good phone. It just had the Snapdragon 8 Generation 1. And I think one of the big things that really helped spur sales this time was globally, Samsung went all in with the Snapdragon 8 Generation 2. So there was speculation for a while that it was going to be an Exynos chip, and then that kept popping up and going away. And then ultimately, on launch, we found out that all of the S23 series phones got the Snapdragon. So that means all of our brothers and sisters around the world, Europe, Asia, Australia, everywhere, all have the same fantastic phone. And the Exynos model, the S22 Ultra, did have some issues. The camera was not quite on par. It had more heat issues. The battery drain was more prevalent, and it just wasn't on par. It was basically like two identical looking phones, but under the hood, they were not the same. Like, they were not created equal. So Samsung finally learned something, and they abandoned their own chipset. Which is funny because, I mean, they're still putting in other phones, right? Like the A54 that just came out has an Exynos. Really not enthusiastic about it at all, especially at that $400-something price point. Like last year, I said that the Pixel 6a was a way better buy than the A53. I still think the Pixel 6a is a way better buy than the A54, and I think even more so that the upcoming Pixel 7a is going to be a really good phone that's going to really destroy the A54. Like, we know right now, Samsung always lowers their prices. The A54 will have a price drop of like very quickly. So anyway, not to say it's a bad phone. I just don't like that it has an Exynos chip. I didn't buy one personally and import it this year. I know there's some other folks that are covering it. I got a good friend of mine, Kevin Breeze. He's making some really good videos on it. So if you want, go check out his channel. Tell him I sent you. Kevin Breeze, he makes some good stuff, and good friend of mine. But anyway, talking about the S23 series, I was mistaken. Like, I'm sorry, I assumed that the S23 would sell better because it's cheaper, right? Like, you would think going into it that more people would buy a $699, $799 phone as opposed to $1199 phone. I mean, that's just kind of what I always thought. Like, normally that's, I thought, how it worked. Anyway, so apparently everybody is so excited and so in love with the Ultra phone that it's having Ultra sales, and it's actually working out really well for them. So I hope this reinforces this behavior of, hey, let's just use the Snapdragon chipsets and let TSMC make them and keep it out of the hands of Samsung, right? Keep Samsung's phone out of Samsung's hands. Let Snapdragon, let the good guys at Qualcomm work together with TSMC and make the better chips, right? And yeah, I think we're off to a great start this year. The S23 series phone's fantastic. I have all three of them currently. I have the S23 and the Ultra that I bought. I've been making videos about them. I think they're fantastic. Yes, they are more expensive. They're premium phones. They cost more money than other stuff. And I also love other phones like the Pixel 7, especially when you can get it as low as like $449 without even having to activate it. Like, just straight up buy it unlocked. There was even some good deals I saw with Mint Mobile a few weeks ago. $298, you could get a Pixel 7 and a year of service if you just port it in your number, which is insane. Really insane. So, all that to say, really excited about what's going on with the S23 series phones. I think they're fantastic. And even like, you can check out in the comments, like a lot of people that watch my videos, watch other people's videos. It's been a resounding positive experience for basically everybody that I've seen that's talked about it. Like, normally there's a mixed bag sometimes. Like, okay, yeah, this is good. Then some people are like, forget Samsung. I'm not investing my money there again. But battery life has been unreal. I think battery life is better than the iPhone 14 Pro Max, which is like just mind-blowing that we have a Samsung phone that's actually beating an iPhone in battery life. Who'd have thought? Like, who'd have thought in 2023 it would finally be the year for Samsung? So, yeah, as of right now, I think that Samsung is in the driver's seat for this year. And I think the lackluster impression across the board, at least for people that I know, have not been overly impressed with the 14 series on the iPhones. A lot of people didn't like what happened with the Plus, even though I will say the iPhone 14 Plus was largely a good experience for me. I still have mine. I bought it with my own money to test it out. Insane battery life. Like, the best battery life on any phone I've ever used probably is that iPhone 14 Plus. So if you just want a big iPhone with a big screen and don't care about the third camera, don't need the telephoto, and want amazing battery, hey, that sucker is going to last you for years. But then if you want something amazing in the complete flagship, like Cadillac level series category, this right here is it. The S23 Ultra. It's pristine, it's sharp, it's beautiful. I think this is the best screen on any phone that I've ever used, and I'll die on that hill. Like, people can come in and say it's not the best display that's out there on the market, but I think it looks amazing. Clear, crisp, beautiful, Quad HD Plus, 120 hertz refresh rate. It's amazing. And also, I got the great deal when it came out, and I got the free storage upgrade. I have 512 gigabytes of storage, so I can record the 8K video if I want, but I mean, who wants to look at me and my receding hairline in 8K? I say probably not most of my viewers that are out there, right? So, overall, really impressed with Samsung for the first time in years. Like, it's like they do some things that are great, and then there's always something, right? There's always something like that. Snapdragon 8 Generation 1, the things that happen with the game optimization software, getting like delisted from the Geekbench scores. Android 12 had a lot of issues. The S22 launch wasn't that great. Like, it started off okay, and then it was like, crash and burn, right? So it was just not some good things going on. They have turned the corner. They're clearly in the lead in the Android world, I think globally. I think this is probably the best, well, one, I think it's the best phone Samsung's ever made. And I've said that repeatedly, but I think it's probably the best phone on the market right now. I don't know. You let me know what you think. Go to the comments. We'll talk about it. Kudos to Samsung. Great job. And they certainly got some of my money, right? So that's all I got in this video. If you have any questions, you have any comments, you want to talk about it, have some great S23 conversation, you know where to go. Go to the comments. We'll have some discussion. If you enjoyed the video, if you found this helpful, if you love Samsung videos and like all the thumbs up and the likes and the subscribes and all that stuff, I appreciate you being here. Thank you for everything. I really do. You guys are what make this possible. I'm glad that you showed up. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It means the world to me. I hope you enjoyed it and learned something. I'll see you guys next time.